wanted to make a quick video to put out some information for owner-operator type costs on the cutter teeth for the forestry mulcher. So this is kind of geared for people who are already owner-operators of forestry mulching machines, or people who are looking to get into forestry mulching. So this is just kind of based on my experience. I've been using this forestry mulcher for about 2.5 years. I've run this for about 2,500 hours. And I know that when I was looking to get into this business, there was just a lot of a lack of information out there to figure out owner-operator costs. So here goes with a little bit of details. So these are the cutter teeth. This is one of the biggest expenses with running a forestry mulcher. I use a forestry mulcher that comes with Bobcats, and I use a Bobcat T770. It's a 92 horsepower machine. It's high flow, and you definitely need high flow to run a forestry mulcher. As far as Bobcat's machines, they consider high flow to be 28 to 39 gallons per minute. I've had my machine tested and everything, so I'm running 39 gallons per minute. So RPMs on this thing are very important for cutting. So the higher the flow and having the power to push it is what gives it its efficiency. So cutter teeth. I've been getting about 300 hours on a set of teeth. These are all new teeth. There's 30 of them. One tooth. I get mine from Bobcat, and this particular model that fits this, you can get it two different ways. You can get just the cutting tool, is what they call it, and that's about $89. But these are held in by two 1/2-inch hex head cap bolts. So if you buy them by the kit, which is the cutter and the two bolts and washers, it's $129. But what I do is I just buy the cutting tool for $89, and then I go to a local shop that sells specialized bolts, or that carry these size bolts, and there's a short bolt and a long bolt, so together they cost about $3 a piece. So I'm basically paying $89 and plus the $3, so about $92 a tooth times the 30 teeth is roughly $2,800. And what that works out to, since I'm getting about 300 hours per tooth at $2,800, that comes out to about a little over $9 per cutting hour. So, and I'm not a mechanic, but I am pretty proficient at changing these out. And to change out all 30 of these, and I'm a little particular about cleaning things up when I have it apart, it took me about 6.5 hours to change out 30 of these. I'll give you a look at, well, one thing to talk about quick is, I know some people run blades or things called samurai blades. It really depends on what kind of material you're in. I'm located in central Tennessee, out of Clarksville, Tennessee, which is about 40 miles northwest of Nashville. So the kind of soil we have here is anything from, good soil to cherty soil, or kind of clay type soils. I do occasionally see some limestone, but not very much. The biggest problems I have with running into things that damage teeth are just debris that is kind of hidden in the woods or in the brush. Things like tire rims. Ran into a 73 Camaro bumper one time that wrapped around here. things like that will damage teeth. Limestone, when you get into hard rock, limestone will grind these edges off within seconds. But getting into any of the softer, I call them softer rocks, but the cherty or clayey type of rocks, these will kind of pulverize. So when I say clay type of rocks, I mean I've run over things like bricks and cinder blocks, and it just kind of pulverizes those things into dust without doing any damage or any kind of excessive wear. Just as a technique that I do is, this is a full set of 30 I put on. So I'll run these for about 300 hours. And what kind of happens is you have a tendency to use more of your center teeth more. So they'll have more wear on them than the end teeth, maybe the last row or two on each side. So what I'll do is replace, depending on their condition, sometime throughout the year, I'll replace 15 or 20 of the center teeth and leave the outside in place so they can get more wear on them. So I can still keep up the efficiency of the cutter and get the most bang for the buck out of these things since they're so expensive. But this is the first time in 2.5, 3 years that I've replaced all 30 of them. I usually kind of rotate them in and out like that. So that's just my technique. So I'll give you a close-up of what the teeth look like. This is the actual parts that I use from Bobcat. Here's the part number. These are the bolts that they're secured with. This is a 4-inch long to 1/2-inch bolt with 20 threads per inch. So it's a fine thread for a bolt this size. And these are hex head cap screws. And this is a 3-inch bolt. So there's a 3 and a 4-inch bolt. So as far as the teeth, this is a new tooth. This is a 300-hour tooth. So just looking at it, you can kind of see the kind of wear. It should have kind of, they're not sharp edges, but they're well-defined edges that come to a point. You can see on these teeth, they're rounded in this direction. But the biggest thing is the profile of it. And I'll get this set up here so you can kind of see the profile of it. So this top edge is really the cutting edge. So you can see on this side how it rounds over. And this is the actual carbide inserts, and these blocks are some type of steel. So you can see the wear, and again, this was new 300 hours ago, and you can see the wear that it has. Nice defined edge on the front, and these are rounded edges. When you're using it as an operator, you can kind of feel when it's just kind of pounding the wood instead of cutting. It still cuts, but just like a chainsaw blade, a sharp chainsaw blade will go through a log like butter and give you good chips. And when a chainsaw blade gets a little worn, it's harder to go through the wood, and it starts coming out more like a powder. But what this does is it starts tearing the tree into bigger chunks instead of really chipping it as it's cutting it. So this will have a better cut, a better finer mulching action. When they start wearing down, you'll notice it'll be a little harder going through the trees, and you'll start shredding the tree into bigger chunks. So I guess that's really about all I had to say about this. Just to give you some idea of costs and operator costs, which are important for figuring out your owner operator costs. Again, the Bobcat T770, high flow. It's got 92 horsepower, plenty of power. This size machine has plenty of power to push that mulching head. A couple things that you definitely want if you're ever using a mulching head. As you can see, this front glass, it's 3/4 of an inch. You can see the layers in it. It's polycarbonate. It's definitely bulletproof, and I definitely recommend. I would not operate a mulching head without this polycarbonate window on it, at least. But Bobcat has a forestry kit, which includes the door, some safety features, FOPS, falling object protection system, and some covers to keep debris out of your engine compartment. But some people, even if you have the standard glass, definitely will not recommend that, because any kind of debris, even sticks or parts of trees or rocks, will definitely ricochet up and hit your window. And I've got some nicks on my window, but I try to be careful. And this is my second machine after 3 years, so this is a newer windshield. But that's it. I hope this information was good for you and useful. This is my business, Clevinger Forest Services. You can look me up on Facebook under that name. I also have YouTubes that I try to post. I'm not a filmmaker, and I try to do this just for kind of informational purposes. But if you're watching a YouTube now, please, if this was good for you, please like it and subscribe to my page, and I can get more videos up. And that's it. Good luck to you all out there, and hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.